This is our video for Chapter 8, 8.0, which is our Pre-Requisite Knowledge. It's our intro video. And in this video, you're going to see a lot of stuff that should be review from 6th grade, 5th grade, maybe even some elementary school. So the first thing we want to review is perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around the outside of the shape. If you look at my example here, I've got a rectangle, and around the outside of the rectangle, it says the word perimeter. And that's the best picture I could come up with to show you what perimeter is. Perimeter is a distance around the outside. Since it's a distance, we use regular linear units to measure that distance. Like we could use feet, inches, centimeters, meters, yards, miles. An easy way to measure this would be to use a ruler or a yardstick or a tape measure. If we want to find perimeter, we take all the distances around the shape and we add them together. So here's an example with a rectangle. Add them all up, we get 20 feet. Here's an example with some irregular quadrilateral. We add up all the sides and we get a perimeter of 22 centimeters. So perimeter is very easy, very quick. Just add up all the sides and use linear units. Area is a little different. Area, now we're dealing with square units. Area is the number of square units that fit inside a shape. So we want to take those squares and kind of tile them together inside a shape with no gaps, no overlaps. And of course we use square units to measure area, like square feet, square centimeters, square inches, square yards, square meters, or square miles. And just to give you a visual, a square foot would be a square that measures 1 foot on all 4 sides. A good example of this is our classroom floor. Every tile is a square measuring 1 foot by 1 foot. If we wanted to, we could ask a student to count up all those floor tiles and tell us the area of the floor. Again, if we were given a diagram like this, we could find the area of each shape just by counting up the squares that fit inside. So we could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 square units for the area of that rectangle. We could do the same thing for the trapezoid or the triangle, but it gets a little trickier because now we're dealing with pieces of squares. So instead of counting up squares, we like to use formulas, and every shape has its own area formula. I'd like you to pause the video and copy down these formulas and make sure you understand which shape goes with which formula. So pause the video now and copy your formulas down. Okay, hopefully you've unpaused the video, you have all your formulas copied down. Let's talk for a second. This is a square. Area of a square is A equals side squared. Area of a rectangle is area equals base times height. Area of a triangle is area equals base times height divided by 2. The area of a parallelogram is the same as the rectangle formula. Something you want to take notice is that the height is always going to form a right angle with the base. Let's take a look at that right angle, height and the base. What we say here is the base and the height are always right. The base and the height will always form that right angle, and that's what's going to be used to help you to find which sides are the important sides to use in your formula. So here's an example from page 2 in your notes. This is a triangle, and we are going to find the area of this triangle using the formula A equals base times height divided by 2. So the first thing I would like you to do is to write that formula down. You notice that in this formula I need 2 measurements. I need the base and I need the height. But in the picture I am given 4 measurements. So I have to determine the 2 measurements that I do not need. Well, the first measurement is the 24 centimeter piece. That does not form a right angle with my height here. The second measurement that I don't need is 13 centimeters. That also does not form a right angle with my height. What I am going to use is this 20 centimeter piece, because if I trace that line, make it a little longer, I will see that this 11 centimeter piece and the 20 centimeter piece are perpendicular. They make a right angle. Remember, the base and the height are always right. So for my formula, the base is 20. The height is that dashed line, 11. And I'm going to multiply them together and then divide by 2. 11 times 20 is 220. And divide that by 2, I get 110. Remember, this is area, so it's measured in square units. So I'm going to use square centimeters in my final area. All of our formulas will be done this way, where we start by writing the formula and then we substitute and we follow the order of operations to solve. There's one more formula that you will need to copy down. This is the trapezoid formula. A trapezoid is the only quadrilateral that has only one pair of parallel sides. And that's the two bases here, base 1, base 2. The parallel sides are always going to be your bases, no matter how that trapezoid is turned. The two parallel sides are base 1 and base 2. And remember, the base and the height are always right. So the height makes a right angle with both of those bases. Here's my formula. Area equals 1/2 times the height times the quantity of base 1 plus base 2. Here are those notes I was talking about. The base and the height are always right. You know that means to find the base and height, we look for the two sides that make the right angle. And area is measured in square units every single time. Your assignment for tonight, do questions 4 and 5 on page 1. These are perimeter. So you are going to be adding to get these finished. So perimeter is strictly addition. And don't forget to start by filling in any missing measurements. Then I want you to do questions number 11, 14, and 16 on page 2. Don't forget to begin with the formula first. Then you can use substitution. When you're finished, do your Google form and bring any questions to class tomorrow.